By the time I met her, she had her children back. She had started a very small little lawn care business. She was able to rent a very small little house. And it was because she was able to get a tiny micro loan through a program provided through a SBDC, which is on Grace Hill in St. Louis. A very small program. Well, it's a welfare to work initiative. This very small micro loan to start this tiny business that was able for her to turn her life around. And if you look at statistics, in countries where there are fewer human rights violations, those are the countries where women have economic freedom and they're building businesses. And so we want to give women that opportunity in this country as well. And I will tell you that when I talked to this woman about her award, I said to her, I said, how in the world did you pull yourself up from where you were? I mean, it would be just so easy to throw your hands up in the air and give up. She said, you know, I decided to stop thinking and listening to all the bad stuff and focusing on the good. And every time I think about that, I still get goosebumps when I'm down and I think about someone who was in that situation who really turned their lives around. But the reason I'm sharing all of this with you is one of the biggest problems for women starting businesses I found was their perception. And when you ask women, there's a program called Make Mine $1 Million Business. And when the program first started, and the first group of candidates came in for mentoring and assistance to help grow their business to the $1 million level, and you got them started talking about building $1 million business, response was, oh, I don't want to make that much money. Or, oh, I don't want to be in $1 million business because I'm already so stressed out that, you know, I can't imagine running $1 million business. Well, the problem with that is, when you start a business, if you don't start with the perception that you're going to be big, you're always going to be small. Because you get in the grind of doing what you're doing every single day, and you don't have time to do that strategic vision. And there's a big difference between creating a job for yourself and building a business. And we call people who are in business for themselves, they're freelancers or consultants or whatever, we call that a business. That's not really a business, that's a job. Because once you stop doing all the work yourself, your income stream stops too. But if you build a business, you're building something that is sustainable and that can go on without you. That's the difference. So when these women said to me, I don't want to make $1 million, I laughed and I said, trust me, just because your business is making $1 million does not mean you're going to be taking home $1 million. In fact, quite the contrary, you're still at a struggling stage. But what it does mean is that you can start to hire the resources that you need to grow your business to the next level. And without that strategic vision, that perception that you can build a big business, you don't know the steps to take or the people that you need to bring into your business to get you to that next level. So that's the importance of perception. The other thing that I learned is the importance of people. And when I say people, I found that women don't like to ask for help. We're so used to taking care of everybody, and we can do it, and we can do it all on our own, and we don't like to delegate. But if you're going to build a big organization, and you're going to build an economically sustainable company, you have to surround yourself with the right people. And that means you have to take a really good look at yourself and figure out what it is you're not good at. And every one of us has strengths and weaknesses. It's impossible for us to be good at everything. Although those of us who are entrepreneurs think that we're really good at everything, but we're not. So when you have your perception in place that you're going to build this big business, you start to think about what kinds of skill sets do I need to surround myself with in order to get where I want to go. So when you start hiring people, whether it's independent consultants or whether you bring people in as employees, you make the right hiring decisions. Another problem that I saw for a lot of women business owners is when it got to that point that they wanted to grow, a lot of them reached out and they brought their best friend in, or they brought their sister in, or their next door neighbor. Oh, this will be great. It'll be one big happy party and we're going to be in business the little rascals, let's put on a show. That's the worst decision they can make. Because typically your friend or your family member does not have the skills that you need to go to the next level. And when it doesn't work out, I have seen so many friendships ruined and really, really, really uncomfortable Thanksgiving dinners. So that perception and finding the right people is so important. And then it's going to go back to something that I call, once again, pennies. And it goes back to this money issue. I keep harping on this. Women need money to grow their businesses. And yet women are so reluctant to, number one, go into debt, but number two, to go out and raise the funds that they need to grow their business. And when I told you that fewer than 3% of women were able to attract venture capital, one of the reasons when we really got down into the process is women don't understand how to network into the financial communities. And they don't understand the financials of their business well enough to be able to present and pitch and find the funding that they need. So when I talk to women's groups and I say, you don't have to be the accountant expert. You don't have to run the bookkeeping systems every single day. But you have to know what those numbers are telling you about your business. And you have to fall in love with those numbers. And I am probably the weakest person in the world when it comes to math. In fact, when I got married to my husband, he was a CPA and was a CFO at a company, and I was working on my checkbook, and he said, don't you balance your checkbook? And I said, oh, no. I said, I round down every deposit and round up every check. I figured there's got to be enough money in there sometime. Let's just say he kind of took over that part of my life. It is so important, but in my business, I can tell you that any day of the week, what our profitability is, where our expenses are going, what our recurring expenses are, I know it intimately, because those numbers are giving me a snapshot of what's going on in my company. And I've also gone through the process of pitching to venture capitalists. I learned how to speak the language. And I make presentations all the time, ladies. But the first time I pitched to a group full of venture capitalists, my hands were sweating and my knees were shaking because it is a different language. And so the bottom line is, when you're looking at starting a business and growing a business, it truly isn't rocket science, but there are some things that we as women need to learn ourselves, to be a constant, hungry learner, to surround ourselves with the right people, with the right expertise, but never, never, never forget that you're the one in control. One of the things I told the teachers this morning is I am a constant learner. And in my technology-driven businesses, and in the media today, things are changing so rapidly. But I never want to be in a situation in my company where somebody can talk circles around me and I don't know what they're saying. So I learn as much about what's going on in my company as I possibly can. Doesn't mean I can sit down and execute on it, but nobody's going to pull the wool over my eyes. And so I think that when we start businesses, we start them because we're passionate about them, which, by the way, you notice I didn't say a single word about passion. And the reason I didn't say a single word about passion is a lot of people stand up here and tell you, if you're passionate about your business, you can't help but succeed. And I will tell you right now, that is the biggest bunch of bunk you've ever heard. Passion is life's energy. It's what gets us up and gets us going. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're building a business, you're going to work harder and longer than you've ever worked in your entire life. You work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you love it because you're passionate about it. But that alone will not make you a success. Passion does not make payroll. Passion does not equal profits. It's understanding the sound business principles that it takes to build a successful, sustainable company that will take your business from a job to a successful, sustainable, multi-million-dollar business.